As a member of the alphabet mafia, it is a wild experience being painted as hypersensitive and dramatic by the same demographic that thinks nail polish is enough to turn their sons gay. Or during conversations about feminism, when I'm told that women are perpetual victims who fail to take accountability. From the same demographic who has maintained almost complete leadership of society but cannot accept how that makes them responsible for the flaws of patriarchy. How about being told that Black people resort to violence and looting anytime something doesn't go our way? From the same demographic that stormed a government building because some bald-headed hoe told them that the election was rigged. I say all this to say, I know that y'all are full of shit when you complain that leftists and woke people are going too far. We're just too sensitive and triggered. Because based on talking points alone, people with conservative values are some of the most reactive, dramatic motherfuckers in all of society. And even worse than the most chronically online leftists you have ever seen, the thing that conservatives are the most triggered by is human rights. It's liberation. It's making the world less oppressive. They argue that terminating an embryo or a fetus with no concept of itself is equivalent to killing a baby. They want you to believe that drag queens are the biggest threat to children in a country where child marriage is legal in 43 fucking states. A man choosing to kneel during a funk-ass song had people likening him to a terrorist. But sure, let's paint leftists as delusional and unhinged for respecting pronouns.
They're trying to ban TikTok! As an avid TikToker, this news is not shocking or surprising. Somebody on the show that I'm on asked me, aren't you happy that they're banning TikTok? I mean, they're tracking our every move. Not when I download American apps and have to beg them not to track my every move. When I was in the military, I had a top secret clearance. I seen some of the worst things, some of the worst news, and I asked my sergeant, why doesn't the American public know about this? I feel like it's important they should know. He told me that the public cannot know certain things because they might become outraged, scared, or worse, rally together. If you read the terms and service or the community guidelines of the American social media platforms, you'll see that there are certain things that we are not allowed to talk about. Politics, for one. You can talk about politics, but if they deem it to be controversial, which I've realized means you're telling the fucking truth, they can not only stop your video from being pushed, but ban you altogether. On TikTok, you can talk to the masses about anything. I wonder why they don't like that. So they can ban TikTok, but I guess my only question is, what app can we download to stop countries that don't like us from sending surveillance balloons over here? Kristen Mingle? Bumble? Tinder?
I wanna hear your thoughts, I wanna hear your sound. And mama always told me to shout and speak my mind out loud. Come on and talk when you got the time. Freedom, want you on the line. We wanna hear from you. You gotta go and let your voice shine. Platform yours is not just mine. We wanna hear from you. You gotta go and talk to me, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. You're gonna shine. Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. You're gonna shine.
Hey y'all, what's up? It's your boy Douglas, or you can call me Freedom. Welcome to my channel. This is season 2, episode 8 of my podcast. Per usual, we got an exciting episode today. Can't wait for y'all to see it. Before we get started, make sure that you guys like, comment, share this video, and subscribe to my channel because you need me. Also, I have the window open because it's a little hot in the room, so please do not mind the noise that y'all hear from outside, and don't mind my brother. Without further ado, we are going to get into the first segment. Hey, you guys. So we are in freedom of... Are you okay? Okay.
I can't do that again. I smiled so awkwardly.
Hey, you guys. We are in freedom of speech. Y'all remember my guest from season 1. This is my girl, Lisa, in the flesh again. I know you guys have missed her. You guys have asked a lot about her. I am excited to have her back. There's a little bit of bubbles in my stomach just because I really was excited to have her back today. She's really one of the OGs of this podcast. So, Lisa, I just want to say, on behalf of me and just everybody that's poured into this podcast and all of the people that watch this podcast, we are glad to have you back.
Thank you. Thank you.
Get used to seeing Lisa's face more often. Guests that are just now watching my podcast for like season 2 and so forth. Lisa, introduce yourself to some of the viewers that don't know you yet.
Well, my name is Lisa, and I appeared a lot on season 1, but I'm back, and that's all that matters.
I wanted to first start off just with you. So I know that you started your baking business, which I shouted out on the last episode. So I kind of wanted you to get into why you started baking, why you like to bake, the business. I just really want the whole synopsis of everything. So
season 1, episode 1, viewers know that I'm in culinary school. So being in culinary school kind of like gave me an idea of exactly what I want to do, which is sell goods. It's something that I always wanted to do. I was always interested in baking and stuff like that. But now that I'm actually in culinary school, it's kind of like you have no choice. Because you're getting a degree in this, you have no choice than to make your career into baking. And so far, it's been very, very, very slow. A lot of people, they have their businesses, they think they're going to make it big quick, but that doesn't happen. You have to promote, you have to make videos, you actually have to get people to spend their hard-earned money into getting their treats, which I kind of have an idea of how to do, but once people hear that things aren't free anymore, they're very hesitant to spend their money. So it's hard actually getting orders. I only have 1 order so far, and I really undercharged her. And that's a problem I have. I don't charge what I'm supposed to charge. So this baking business is going, but it's going very, very slowly. But we'll get there one day. We'll get there.
I just wanted to say that I'm in your boat with Freedom Savage Entertainment, my network that I also just established a website and platform for. And you've seen it on Instagram. I've been promoting it from time to time. Literally, to get all of the music, you have to go through the website. There is this feeling of, I don't know, when you first start a business or something that you're doing. It's trendy now, and it's like more of a thing now for people to say that they own their own stuff. A lot of people, which is a good thing, a lot of people are kind of like taking entrepreneurship into their own hands more, nowadays. But what a lot of people, I feel like, don't really shed too much on is the beginning and how hard things are. I feel like it's shed light upon fairly well. But I'm talking about in the sense of like, I feel like people praise the business more when it's established, more when it's done, more when you have people flowing in. And I feel like nobody really gets into the nitty gritty unless you just have that platform. No one really gets into the nitty gritty of just the hardships that comes with even starting a business, Freedom Savage Entertainment, as I told people in the promo, is something that's going to grow with time. I'm a work in progress, and so is my network. So I prepare people for potential mistakes, miscalculations, because all of those imperfections make a good business. They do. So I just wanted to say, I am in your corner, and this is not just for the podcast. This is in general, because, me and you would have probably been talking about this aside from the podcast, but I am in your corner. I know what it's like to not really have too much people pouring in. I'm just now beginning to get a little bit more of a, what you call it, an amount of people.
Traffic.
Yeah. I'm just now beginning to get a tad bit of traffic. So it really is a very slow process. I actually just saw something on Instagram. Trey Melvin, on his story, he had posted something about, what did it say? Discipline is not about perfection. It's about continuity. I just feel like the more you continue to dedicate yourself to your baking, at some point it's going to grow, and it'll take time, but it's going to grow. You just have to discipline yourself, work hard, and be fair with your prices. Child, be fair with your prices. By all means, make them reasonable. But child, if you know how much work you put in, you damn sure know how much money you're supposed to get.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you something, for those brownies, that definitely got to be above $100. As I told y'all before, even in the promo, she makes the best brownies. So I'm not over her brownies for nothing. I saw that post today on Trey Melvin's story, and it really got me thinking, like literally a few minutes. But while I was getting ready for this podcast, I literally saw the post. So I just feel like the more you continue to work on your business, do not give up. I know it's very tempting to, especially when there's nothing coming in. Nobody's really paying attention to it. It's very easy to give up. That's how I felt with starting YouTube and even creating the website for my business, but making sure that you continue what you do is very important. I commend you in doing that because I still see that you are doing that. And I just want to let you know, as a friend and just as a person and as a fellow entrepreneur, I'm in your corner. I know that you've also voiced to me a lot about just never really knowing what's your niche in your life, like always kind of been on this track of like, should I be here? Should I be here? Should I be here? Should I be here? You told me about that a lot. And I'm not going to lie. I can't tell your future for you. I can't tell you what's your thing or what's not your thing. That's up for you to decide. But as your friend and as a proud customer, I do think that baking is a skill that you inhabit very well. So who knows? I can't wait to see how your business blossoms. What are your personal goals for your business? What do you expect to get out of your business? What do you want the most out of your business?
Right now, I just want clientele. Because I feel like once I get clientele, I would know exactly what my goals are. Because I can't really have goals right now that I want to meet in a certain time frame if only a fraction of the foot traffic I want is happening. So I feel like my main goal right now is clientele, loyal clientele, people who are willing to spend their money, to come back, to tell their friends. So that's my main goal right now.
I'm a big believer in manifestation. So I'm just going to put that out in the atmosphere. It's going to happen for you. You will get what you want as far as clientele is concerned. So I'm putting that out there for you. I'm manifesting. I'm doing all of that good stuff. I feel like it all just starts with you getting out there more, I guess. I think it starts off small. So try to see people in your neighborhood want something. My mom owned a catering business. And she started off her business by catering to her friends. And a lot of the people in the community, even some of the workers at our bank, knew my mom by her first name, not just because of the bank, but also just because my mom has catered to a lot of her bank tellers' weddings and, stuff like that. It really starts with serving your community first. So if you get some people on your block to really try your stuff, probably let them try like samples and stuff for free. It's about to be hot outside. Get out of your house and just, see the people walking by, ask them if they want to try. I think it's just a matter of getting out there. My YouTube and my music, I feel like grew in the last couple of years because I shared with people that already wanted to hear, my friends and family, and then they share it to their people. Y'all share it to y'all people. And then those people share it to their people, it has to do with sharing and just getting it out there. So that could be, a nice tip for you, just get out into your community and really start just by showing people what you make out there and then having it grow. Do you want a place for your business, or do you want it to be like through like a website, just like a little shipping thing? Or did you really want the whole restaurant experience,
Bakery experience.
You want to
you get up in the morning, you bake the cake or whatever, you put it on display case, families come with the kids, or women coming from Pilates class, they want a sweet treat or whatever, they come and they get what they want and they're happy.
I just thought of this game like just now, like when we were talking. Matter of fact, let me just look it up.
Oh my gosh, I remember that game faintly.
Yes.
Faintly. I remember it.
Purple Place. And they had the little, this is like a small, how you play it. I don't know the screen, but you know what I mean. Like when you said that, it immediately reminded me of that. Like when you said that whole thing about like wanting the bakery experience, it brought me back to that game heavily. Like even your aesthetic, like your page aesthetic, it gives me a lot of this vibes, like a lot of the game vibes. So I think just from the artwork down, you're serving what needs to be served with this business, and it's just a matter of time. Changing gears, I did want to bring something to your attention. I've been wanting to talk about this for a minute, and I was like, damn, we doing a podcast, we might as well get into it. Can we please talk about them possibly banning TikTok?
You know, I was at school today, and I was on TikTok, and I forgot what this creator does. She does sim stories, like legacies and stuff, since she lives in the US, that she possibly can't post on TikTok. And I'm here like, I know they were talking about it in the Congress room the other day, and I'm like, TikTok is really that detrimental?
Oh,
This is how many people get their money. Just like how Instagram is, TikTok is the exact same. People's careers is based on TikTok. How are you going to take away an app that, from my knowledge, is not that harmful? We should be talking about guns instead of TikTok in court.
I was about to say, because I saw something about the Nashville school shooting earlier today. Mind you, that's like what, our 1 millionth shooting we've had in this country alone? Like, I just feel like, come on.
Make it make sense.
I just feel like TikTok is not detrimental here. It really seems like the government picks and chooses what they want to make an issue. And I'm going to get to that in a minute, because I know that some states are actually passing anti-LGBTQIA plus legislation, or I think in talks of it. But we're going to get into that in a minute, because that's a separate topic. Let me just stick to the whole TikTok thing. As an upcoming artist, it is kind of difficult to have to rely on the app for a lot of things, because, you know, so many artists are being found through TikTok now. I already told them my neighborhood is loud. So when it passes, we'll be good. This is the shit I gotta go through and film it. Imagine doing like an audition tape for a manager. Like, I'll be having an audition for movies, commercials. Mm-hmm. Imagine standing in this room, in this corner, having to do audition tapes, and then I hear that shit. And with the window closed, Lisa, back to what I was saying. As an upcoming artist, having to pull in a fan base from TikTok and trying to get exposed and known from the app is a little difficult for me. So that's just a little con with having to utilize the app just in that aspect. I feel like you just have to be that artist with that song nowadays. Like, I don't. But TikTok is a very important app. It's a beautiful app, and it's a useful app. You know how many how-tos and DIYs alone my sister gets from TikTok? Stuff that she never knew how to do before, she knows how to do from TikTok. I personally love their cooking. I love cooking recipes. Shout out to Kimmy's Creations and Mr. Make It. I watch them on TikTok and Instagram. But like, you learn a lot from TikTok. And not for nothing, I also feel like that's another reason for why the government personally finds it a problem. It's because I feel like, hold on, I gotta wait a minute for this call. There's not even nothing happening on my block. Like, they set up the alarm so early. It's not even funny. I feel like another reason for why the government is kind of looking at TikTok as a problem is because it's really one of those apps where you could say like a lot. I've came across a lot of TikToks that's been kind of like exposing the truth about just like a lot of stuff that Black people has done for this country, you know, and you'll always see those videos. Some of them like get striked down or, you know, stuff like that. So a part of me does kind of believe it's because we do have a lot of the truth being exposed through TikTok. And I think that the government in some way, shape or form wants to censor that. So that's my personal opinion. But this is not to say that the app doesn't have its cons, but I don't think that it's worth taking away from people. And I don't know if the government forgot, but this is literally the app that I really feel like kept a lot of people alive during the quarantine, especially. You know, it grew popular during the quarantine because it was out prior to the quarantine, but it grew popular during the quarantine. You know, a lot of people find community in TikTok. A lot of people find a place to belong in TikTok. Some of my favorite influencers and comedians and content creators that I watch and that I am a fan of are from TikTok. So it's not for nothing. If you're bored, it's a great app to utilize. And I know people that are on TikTok for hours. And yes, there's semantics in that people could dig down, but you know, it's a good app overall. You're right. We have so many things happening in this country alone that needs to be addressed. TikTok is not y'all issue. Let's talk about how we still have police brutality going on. All of these mass shootings, people of the queer community still getting their lives taken away till this day. The sex trafficking issue. Those are just a handful of issues that are still going on in this country. A handful. Like, I don't understand. And TikTok is y'all problem. You got to be kidding me. Like, that's insane. Like, I don't understand. I will never understand that. Like, that's not nothing. I don't care. And then I guess their excuse has something to do with cyber. Like, what did they even say? I read some of the articles, but girl, I was bored because I even saw them on trial because somebody had like the trial live on TikTok. And I was just bored out of my mind. And then the people from the government that was asking the questions, to me, like the vibe I got from them, the impression, it gave me, y'all don't even know how to pick up a phone, let alone utilize TikTok. But y'all want to talk about all of the dangerous cyber stuff that this app poses. And I'm not in that field, so do not at me. But y'all are the same ones that always install those options to let apps track everything we do.
Exactly.
Like, I just feel like I don't know if I relate, but that's not an invasion of my privacy.
Like, let me tell you something.
I
download an app on my phone. And then, do you know when it says, oh, do you want companies to track you against other apps? And they have the option of allow or do not allow. Who the fuck in the right mind would pick allow? You guys, I know a whole part of this was about like cyber hacking or whatever. TikTok is not the only app that could do that. Hasn't Facebook had issues like this before?
I'm about to say, because I vaguely remember Facebook like getting into an issue like this before. I don't know, but
y'all are just wasting your time. You're wasting your energy on something that really doesn't really affect you. And even if it's deeper than you guys are telling us, why only TikTok? Why only TikTok? And why keep all of that inside instead of telling the public, people who actually use it, people who actually be harmed besides the US government?
Period. And to be honest, you're right about why only TikTok. Isn't every app now making their own version of TikToks? Instagram with Reels, YouTube with Shorts, Facebook with their are they called Facebook Reels? I don't even know. You know what I mean? But you have so many apps now creating their own renditions of TikTok. You will have to remove all of those too. If TikTok, if y'all decide to ban TikTok, which I hope that y'all don't. You know what I mean? I hope by the time this video come out, this topic will be old news, but who knows? You know what I mean? I just feel like this is so uncalled for, so unnecessary. And like you said, it's a big ass waste of time when you guys have so much other problems. Hence what I said before about just the total abuse on the queer community. I was in the store in my neighborhood, right? There's multiple delis around my block, but one of them, it's a particularly new deli. It's been open for like a couple of years now, probably like early high school, right? I walked into the deli because I wanted to get food. I usually don't get food from this deli at all because they don't take food stamps. But I had a little bit of cash on me, so I was like, you know what?
Why not?
I'm about to say, let me just wild out. I just decided to order some halal food. So I ordered chicken and lamb over rice. It was nasty as by the way, but we're not going to get into that, should we? I ordered chicken and lamb over rice. While I was waiting for it to be cooked, the store was pretty much empty. It was just the guy at the register and the guy making my sandwich. A girl walked in who happened to be transgender. To society, they will appear mostly masculine because of their features. She walked up to me and she had asked me if I had Lucy's on me, but I told her that I didn't smoke. And she said, oh, okay, like, sorry to bother you. I said, no, you didn't bother me at all. And by the way, you look pretty as hell, because she looked really fucking pretty. Oh,
Period.
Keena was on the phone. Shout out to Keena. Keena was on the phone, and she overheard me tell, the girl that she was pretty. Keena had saw her through the angle of my phone. So Keena was like, you're pretty. I also think you're pretty, whatever. And the girl was just like, thank you so much. I'm an MUA. And I was just like, okay. The store don't have Lucy's for her. So she leaves the store. That's when me and Keena start talking about just like how pretty she was on the phone while I'm going to pay for my food. The dude at the cash register gonna go and say, he starts laughing at me first. Then he says, why are you saying she's pretty? She's a man. She's a man. And he starts cracking up, calls over the guy that's making my food to stop making my food and go by him to start laughing at me for calling the girl pretty. Then they saw her because the way he's standing, like the way his register and stuff is positioned at the store, he could see outside the door. Like he could see like the streets. He could see like 2 blocks down from how he's positioned in the store, like the windows, the glass, it's clear. He sees the girl still pointing at her, just laughing, like making her look like a fool. I was in shock. Me and Keena was on the phone like, and I literally was just like,
sir,
definitely told him he was going to hell for that.
you should have walked out that fucking store. Not pay for shit.
I wasn't too shocked that a person like him would say that. I feel like a lot of people, especially from the projects, they know this. A lot of our delis are ran by a lot of Middle Eastern people. Some of them come from countries where you could get killed for being gay, let alone trans. I think based off of his come up, people like that usually he's used to people like that getting ostracized, made fun of, probably even hurt, So to see a person like me go and compliment somebody like that probably was really out of the norm for him. But by all means, this is 2023 America.
It's 2023. He's in America and in New York.
New York of all places, we're the most diverse. Come on. And to be honest, I don't care. I don't give a damn what their sexual orientation was. They're still a customer that's going to give you money for whatever they buy in your store. They're helping your store. No matter what happens, they're helping your store. What really bothered me about that was I felt bad for the girl because you don't know what looks that they're probably getting. And that's another reason for why I complimented them, because I felt like they could use compliments and not out of pity, just love. You know what I mean? Love, appreciation. You don't know if she gets that every day from people. The looks, the stares, those comments. And those same comments and those same concepts that people have in their head about them is exactly what gets a lot of trans women today and hurt today and taken advantage of today. And that's what really pisses me off. And now you have some of these rights even like,
okay, before you guys say anything, hear me out. When they're talking about LGBTQIA laws, is this particularly like in the school system?
It was a thread on Instagram, but it said something. Ooh, Lizzo posted it. Shout out to Lizzo for also just like alerting people about everything that was happening. But Lizzo had shared this post to her Instagram. Anti-LGBTQIA legislation is being passed banning gender-affirming healthcare and drag shows.
Okay, drag shows? It's a show. It's making... I know they have the only drag show I know is about RuPaul. If they're talking like television shows, the CEO of VH1 is on VH1 or MTV?
What? RuPaul's Drag Race?
Yeah.
I think RuPaul's Drag Race moved to MTV. They used to be on VH1.
That CEO is making money. And most likely that CEO is a white man. Right? There's that. Drag shows that's like in the bars, that really doesn't affect Congress. It really don't.
Is that affecting?
It don't make sense. How is a drag queen performing their best, doing splits, dead drops at a club for 2 hours harming you? Isn't it good for your economy? People are buying drinks and getting lit for you.
I'm about to say financially, that should be the shit, especially if they doing the taxes and whatever. Y'all getting y'all funds.
Because a man wants to dress up as a woman, it's a crime. But what I will say, and hear me out, because I've heard a lot of cases when it comes to this specific type of thing. Hear me out. Don't judge. Do not judge. I'm talking to you, Douglas, because
I'm
I'm
not
talking to you
judging.
right
I'm
now.
not judging, girl. I'm not
Right?
judging. I'm not judging.
But when it comes to LGBTQ laws and like from elementary school to middle school, I don't know what the laws, like teachings, I don't know what they are right now. But I have heard multiple cases where a little boy, he goes to school, he starts to transition to a woman. Wait, no, I think it was the opposite way. It was the opposite way. A girl transitioned to a boy, got a penis, got breasts, all of that feminization surgery. Later found out that that was a whole mistake. They never wanted it. They don't want to be a woman right now. They don't want. Did I say that right?
They didn't want to transition as soon as they thought they did.
And with that, that person sued the doctor because they did it so young. I think they were like 12, 13. This is going to sound bad, but what I feel like kids shouldn't transition until they're a freshman in high school because of things like that. Our brain doesn't develop till a certain age. When I mean transition, I mean like the surgeries and the hormone blockers, all of that. Because if I was in a situation and then the next 5 years I want to become back a woman, it's gonna be hard for me to come back to the way I was. So I think it would be better, to inform them. I'm not saying to block it off all the way, but from a certain age, let them decide what they want and let them know the consequences if they decide to go back on what they were.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
I understand what you mean. I totally understand what you mean. Now, Lisa, what the does that have to do with?
No, because I heard about the laws and I was like, I know some of them are like, they want to ban it completely.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of that. Yeah, that's not cute. I'm not a fan of that. It doesn't have to be banned completely, but I do see what you're talking about. Just that whole thing of just like letting people know, informing kids on what they do and letting them know the outcomes of their choices and how they would have to go about things if they do go on this certain track. I totally think that education about it is definitely needed.
Just like
instead of having all of these health classes and shit teach us about the same thing over and over again, use that to inform us about all of these, inform the little kids about all of these things.
Have that as a section. It's imperative. Oh, look at me using big words. But it's imperative.
It's heavy on the imperative. Circling back to just the whole Delhi situation, I did also want to point out something for this podcast. Before I go forward, I do want to say that this is not me getting at or attacking any Middle Eastern people. Let's just say that just because we live in a cancel culture time now, and I don't want, like parts of this video to be taken out of context. This is not me getting at any Middle Eastern people. I have a huge love and respect for Middle Eastern people. Let's make that clear. This is just me saying that I know in some Middle Eastern countries, LGBTQIA rights are not recognized and are illegal. If you happen to come from countries such as that, you grow up with a different belief system than people in this country. You can talk.
Not only Middle Eastern, but I was listening to the radio. I think it's some places in Africa. You can get
some places in Africa also actually made it illegal to even like be gay and stuff. Yes, they made it illegal. I found out the other day. So like, that's crazy. If you're from the projects, you know this. If you go into a deli, 9 times out of 10 is being ran by Middle Eastern people. That guy, being the age he is, I think.
Oh, that's hell.
My personal view of it, just assuming he probably came from a country where people being trans and gay and whatever isn't accepted, and it's seen as a capital offense in some areas.
Yes, he has his cultures. Yes, he has his beliefs. But I don't know if I'm saying this right. My thinking is straight. He knew he was wrong because he didn't say it when she was in the store.
No, yeah, exactly. It's a matter of respect. It's a matter of respect. You can think whatever the hell you want, but just shut your exactly. Just shut your mouth. Like, I was talking to my friends, so you butted in on my conversation. That's one. Like that. If you're from the hood, you could attest to this. Our delis are not going to be like delis in more wealthy areas. Our laundromats are not like laundromats in more wealthy areas. Our clinics, our pharmacies, our fast food restaurants, they're not going to be as of quality as they may be in wealthy areas. Being that we're in the projects, we get the lowest of the low. Even from the restaurants, the clientele is shitty because just a lot of people in the community that provide services to people in the community, they already have a perceived notion about how a lot of Black people are, what they assume a lot of Black people are. So it causes a lot of them to be mean. It causes a lot of them to be mean to their customers. Played a big role in just like everything that happened when I was in the store, you know, because being from the projects, you get the lowest of the low when it comes to treatment.
Not even if you're from the projects. Like, I started a job. I'm going to talk about my job because my job is like...
Oh, trust me, Lisa's job, that's a whole podcast episode within itself.
It makes you want to walk in and just be like, what the is going on here? I work at a Target in East Gateways in East New York.
Everything outside of East New York. So probably
anyways, it's in East New York. And let me tell you, the interactions that happen in the Target, you wouldn't see this in Long Island. You wouldn't see this in Soho. You wouldn't see this in any other predominantly white area. And it's like,
let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Come on. This is a business. We should be at top of our game. But people don't want to be at the top. And it's sad because this is the place you work. You should take pride in the place you work. And people just don't. You should be friendly to the customers. But then the customers meet you, of course you're going to be mean back. And I do that.
It's the way Lisa was like, and I do that, you know? Like,
yes, you're having a bad day. But you may never know.
What do I have to do with your bad day?
And you guys get mad when we get the attitude back. But it's like, you give respect, you get respect. And half the time, we're not respected. That shit.
Whether or not you're going to receive the best clientele is a risk that you get going to any place. I'm not saying that it only happens in the projects. You're speaking from a worker's point of view. And, you know, we all fall victim to it, me included. You know, when people are very, how can I say it? We all have that little bit of narcissism. You know, we only think about ourselves, especially I know a lot of workers don't feel like being at work. They're working for the money. They're not really working to work to be there. You know, they don't really care. There's a lot of people in positions where you work where they don't really care about the job. They just need the money. You know what I mean? That's one thing. But then you have people that want to get out of the store as soon as possible and they want all their needs met. So it's like, sometimes I feel like in a lot of situations, workers think one way, customers think another. But both people are just thinking about themselves in the moment. You know, there's no clear communication. There's no clear amount of given. You know what I mean? On either side. So it creates that conflict. But when I talk about project neighborhoods, I'm talking about the clear pattern that's been seen throughout the projects for years. Not only do a lot of minorities get placed in communities where they already have to suffer environmental and financial and conditional lows, but we also have to suffer the lows of walking into a laundromat and not just getting the best service, walking into a deli, walking into a fast food restaurant and not getting the best service, because in their mind, it's the projects. Who cares? Even if something's wrong. You know, it's a known thing that the police 9 times out of 10 ain't really going to give too much about a case if it takes place in the projects. And it's sad and it needs to be spoken about. And I'm glad that we both kind of like brought that topic to light just even for this segment, because it was heavily needed. With that being said, we are going to move into the second half of the freedom of speech segment. All right, y'all. So we are in our next segment. This is Freedom of Speech Part 2. You could also interpret this segment as a Freedom Fun segment just because we are playing a game. But it still has that same. I think I did this last season also. Like it could have been seen as freedom fun, but because this game is a truth game, and we still have that activity of using the platform to speak our minds about things, it falls under the freedom of speech umbrella. So without further ado, as I already said it, we're going to be playing the truth game. Lisa has some questions for me. I got some questions for her. And we're basically going to end off the podcast like that. This is to ease my viewers that's been watching the podcast from the beginning. This is just to ease y'all back into just Lisa being here. And this is for the viewers that probably don't know Lisa, to get to know Lisa a little bit more. Lisa, you can start by asking me your first question.
Ooh, I want your honest opinion of what do you think of these sex workers on TikTok, being on TikTok?
Sex workers being on TikTok?
Yes.
Elaborate.
Yes. I'm gonna expose myself. But I just be on Twitter time to time. And you know how like Twitter, it doesn't really have like a censor when it comes to like shit like that.
Yeah, Twitter is basically it's very explicit, yeah.
Some of the things I would see on Twitter, I would see on TikTok. So how do you feel about that? Not exactly like, full.
Are you saying, have I came across a lot of OnlyFans creators on TikTok,
yes,
or just like
making
creators that have been creating like promotional TikToks, really flaunting their like privates and stuff like that? You're gonna call me a nasty, but I'm low key here for it. Only because if you don't like their content, you could always say that you're not interested.
True.
And it'll be filtered out of your FYP. You won't have to never worry about it, and it'll be none of your business anymore. So it won't be your business once you swipe away from the video. That's it, personally. Now, am I saying that I'm okay with my niece going on TikTok and finding some shit like that? Absolutely not. But I also feel like that's why isn't there TikTok for kids out now? There's a TikTok app just for kids. I don't know.
Really?
About it. Yeah, but matter of fact, let me just go and tell people about that right now, because I know we got some parents that's probably watching my shit. So if you are worried about your kids coming through some shit like that, I'm lying. Anyway, like I was saying, damn, I thought there was a TikTok because there's a YouTube Kids house. So I thought they made a TikTok. Yeah, you just gotta watch what your children do at the end of the day.
Very much so.
These kids now, they're learning a little bit faster than we did. They're getting exposed to things a little bit faster than we did. Like, okay, I get it. Like, we're Gen Z. Like, our generation grew up when this shit was being created. My niece's generation is growing up with this shit already with them in their face.
Very amateur type thing.
You know what I mean?
My nephew, he knows Ice Spice. It's not really like a big deal, but Ice Spice.
I get it. Like, I get it. They're so exposed. You know what I mean? A lot of these kids today, they're very exposed. You know, and when I think about things like this, I think about my niece. No, I wouldn't want my niece to find a sex worker's page, but at the end of the day, that's why you have parents that can monitor them, and you could always change what you see in your feed. I feel like if TikTok finds their content an issue, then that's between them and TikTok. But in my personal opinion, it's up to you, like, just like as a regular adult person, to be like, oh, I don't want to see this, click not interested. You could do the little ... shits at the end and just click not interested. And I stand some of them. So like I said,
yeah, some of them, others are like, I know there's some of them that will be on Vine, or like making, like when Musical.ly was around.
And there's some, and believe it or not, there are some popular like influencers and content creators on TikTok that actually do have OnlyFans accounts and stuff like that. They just don't promote it like that. But like, if you really go and search, you will find them. And like you said, Twitter got everything. So to be honest, it's like it's practically right in front of your face on Twitter, literally. Literally. Lisa, we're both plus size, right? How was it growing up as a Black plus size girl?
Growing up, I never really was bullied. Like I know a lot of people, they were bullied simply because they were plus size. But out of all my rivals, maybe like one or two incidents that I can remember. But at school, where it really happened was when I was at home. Because my mom, she liked to dress me up and stuff. But she wouldn't dress me in baggy clothes. It was always, tight fitting clothes to make sure, I don't look bigger than I am. And when mothers get mad, they get into their little phases. Is it phases? Or like, I'm gonna say temper tantrums, where they say
I'm about to say
every
little moves
shit that comes in their head and don't remember what they say. My mother is one of those mothers. Like, she would say the meanest shit she would ever think of. And then you're like, you remember when you said that? And she comes with, I ain't never said that. I would never say that. So it was kind of hard to like talk to her about it when, okay, like let's say if she was mad at me and she goes, Lisa, you're ugly as so and so and so and so. 2 weeks later, I was like, Mommy, you remember when I said I was ugly as so and so and so? I never said that. I would never say that. But you have other people telling you that you said it, and it's like
everybody's literally telling you you did it, and you keep being adamant saying that you didn't.
And it's like, exactly, it's like, I know I'm not going crazy. And it kind of breaks you even more than,
Your
putting it together.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you're saying this stuff to me, you don't realize you're saying this stuff to me. But you want to apologize saying this stuff to me simply because you don't remember you saying it.
I had 2 family members do fat jokes on me and make fun of me and criticize me for being the size that I was. And I spoke about them on episode 1 of this season. So I totally understand, where you're coming from with that.
When you mention family members with me, my mother's side of the family, but my father's side of the family, they didn't really give a My mother's side is like, it's like they always got to bring it up. Mainly my grandmother. That's why I don't see her. She always got to she always got something smart to say. And it's like, why say anything? I'm 19 now. You got to live with it.
That's just the glory of traditional West Indian families. They're critical as This is a part of the question. This is not like a whole nother question.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't want to just leave it off with, oh, okay. I feel like that's something that I really need to like finalize in a sense. Because I've seen you step out so many times just with outfits. You wear the bombing ass outfit. You wear bombing ass outfits, not to mention that you're just naturally fucking beautiful. So where do you get your inspiration from to still have that high self-esteem, be yourself, have that confidence?
I think somebody who like really, 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 really got me on my show. Y'all know Faith on TikTok? Oh my gosh, Faith, she just encouraged me to buy so much shit that I normally would not buy. Like, her inspiration just to step out and be the bad bitch that she is makes me be like, why can't I do that? Just because I got more pounds? I can't do that? I mean, like, before her, I had this mindset that, like, plus size women should wear the granny clothes and be covered up. But now it's like, I prefer plus size women over women who are petite. And she made me realize that. And I feel like she's like this big inspiration for me.
We always love us something, girls.
If the world was to stop right here and now for the next 24 hours, what would be the first thing you would do?
What do you mean by if the world was to stop for the next 24 hours?
Like right now we just stop. Like we freeze. And you're the only one that's
alive. Is it like time got paused?
Yes.
Time got paused for 24 hours.
Yes.
But it's still going on, but it stops. Type. Okay. Because in my mind, I immediately thought like promotion, like what could I do to like let the world know about like me and my craft and my art and stuff like that. But shit, everybody frozen. I mean, what can I do? Steal everybody's phones and download my single? Like, what do I do? Like, I'm really trying to think. I don't know. Actually, probably I shouldn't say this. I'm gonna steal some food.
That'll be the first thing.
Yes, girl, I'm big for a reason. I'm gonna steal some food. That's it. I'm gonna go to my favorite restaurant and I'm packing. I'm going crazy. So like that's I immediately because at first I was like, okay, I don't know career, so shit. I'm gonna go to the next best thing, food. What do I love other than my family and my career? Food. Like that's it. Like period. So yeah, probably that. Okay.
Okay.
What's your dream guy?
This does sound bad, but this is just how I feel at this point in time. You could be any race but white. And I mean American white.
Child.
I'm sorry, but the guys that I have like talked to like that are white, they don't know really what racism is, you know? They would say stuff and it's like that's racist. And it's like
Because of how they came up, they don't understand that what you're
exactly.
saying is offensive. Yeah,
They don't
a lot of
correct
the people you came across. Yeah,
exactly. Like because I am plus size. So obviously one of the things I've heard is that my favorite porn category is ebony. Why do I need to know that? Great. Keep that to yourself. So that's number one. Number two, if I'm dating you, don't be like, I know it's like what's the name for these type of guys? Gym bodies,
bros.
gym bros. Don't force me to get my ass in the fucking gym if I don't want to get in the fucking gym. I'm gonna
If you work in the gym, good for you. You can't do that.
Good for you. If I wanted to be in the gym 24/7, 7 days a week, I will do that. But I don't. You gotta love me for who I am. Curves, stretch marks, rolls, everything. And if
Heavy
you
on
don't,
that. Heavy on the stretch marks. Heavy on the rolls. Heavy on the curves.
3, your family, your sister. Like I have heard so many TikTok stories where the son would bring home a plus size girlfriend that he's really in love with, and the parents are like, "No, I don't want that," because like I feel for those girls because it's like your son loves me. That's all that matters. He's happy. He's getting taken care of. He's not dead in a ditch.
And to be honest, your standards and like how like the men and stuff gotta be is very much reasonable, very much valid. I feel like a lot of girls will identify with you. You're not the only black girl that I've came across that strictly told me that it's heavy on no white men. So
Let me get this straight. American white. You can be European white. I ain't got a problem with that. But if your grandparents are from America and your great like your whole line is American, don't talk to me. Simply because
I know what you mean. I know what you mean, John. I get it.
If you had the chance to date anybody in this world, anybody, and be happy for the rest of your life, you guys get married, you guys have kids, and you die together, who would that ideal person be? Personality wise, looks wise, stuff like that.
I can't give you a specific person, but they would love the fuck out of me. I would have to be 1,001% comfortable around them. And I would just have to trust them with my heart, my soul, my everything, you know, to one, make love to them, two, to even want to be tied like that. You know, I'm at this point now in my life. I've actually always been at this point in my life. Y'all always heard me tell y'all that I don't like that feeling of feeling like I'm bound to something. And I'm not gonna lie, it was one of the reasons for like I have not even really partaken in a relationship with anyone. Because it's that feeling of like being bound to something. So I do see that like being a potential reality for me, but it's one of those questions where you kind of got to ask with who. And then two, it's like I said, it's just that it's like I would really have to be so into you to want to do that. And I'm unpredictable. I know that. Just like every other human being, I'm unpredictable. So I can't tell my future. I could say I'm never gonna do this, and then by the time I'm 30 or 40, I'll probably would have already had done it or in the process of doing that. So who knows?
Can't tell my future child.
Think about a time in your life where you really felt hurt and you kind of dismissed it because you felt like nobody would have really gave a fuck in the moment. Like something that you probably never really like told anybody, or probably something you did tell someone, but you never really elaborated on it. You never really like, something like that where you never really shed too much light on it.
I'm gonna talk about one of the times recently where I've been like hurt and like honestly, what you said, like when I'm hurt and I voice my opinion about how I feel, it happens a lot to me because I don't know why it just happens a lot. Like I could be really hurt and I go to my mother or go to my father or something, and it's like really bothering me, and I just be like, you know how parents just be like, it's really not that deep, but ooh, there was this time. This was, I think I was in high school, and just like how me and you are here talking, this thought will all of a sudden blow up in my mind. What if this house blew up? I'll be dead. Or what if I don't wake up from my sleep? Or, well, if I'm sleeping, what if somebody just decides to rob us and kill me first? Shit like that. Shit of me dying.
God forbid. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Right? And I remember I told my mom, and my mom, she has like she was a paramedic. She works in the medical field. So she has like some sort of idea, I guess, of how shit like this works. But when I told her, she didn't say anything. It was like me, her like she had nothing to say. When I told my dad, the difference is he said it was normal for me to feel like that. And in my head, it didn't feel normal because why am I thinking about shit like this? I'm in high school thinking about dying. And it's not like the most casual way. It's like the most chaotic way ever of dying. And it's like I'm
it's this sudden burst of concern, and burst of anxiety that you're getting.
Exactly. And it's like
you're having an anxious moment, and how do you confide in your parents like that? Are they going to give you the emotional support you need? Like,
and it's like I'm telling you guys how I feel. It's like Lisa, be fucking for real. It's like damn. So I can't tell y'all about shit that's concerning me without being tossed away. I feel like that's one of the moments.
Surprising that you like got a lot of that during high school, because usually, like, no offense to you, but like I've seen like a lot of like those questions and stuff be asked by like a lot of little kids. You know what I mean? So it is kind of interesting to see like you being a high school student, like is really when you like got the time to really start having those anxious what if moments. Cause I feel like we have a lot of those as kids. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to always think like that. Like, what if something happened to me? I used to say, God forbid, after everything I did. I believed in so much superstitions when I was a little kid. I was just so tortured by what ifs. Child, I was the king of it. Like, I was the king of worrying about shit like that when I was a little kid. But over time, it was just this feeling of like, I started to get this big feeling, I guess, like maturing. It was this feeling of like, it really is what it is. You know what I mean? So like once I started to grab that concept, and also that concept, like everything happens for a reason, whatever be will be, like, like stuff like that you'll hear people say, like stuff like that kind of like also pushed me to kind of like be more reasonable about like how I look at things like that, I feel like it's human nature to get worried, especially in times we live in now. Because we don't really know where the fuck this country is turning. I mean, for the first time in history, we might have a president go to jail.
America has a problem.
In the words of Beyonce.
What is a profession in this world that is very highly respected, but out of pure experience, personal experience, you hate?
Even if I'm not a part of that profession, just like from what I've seen. Well, I feel like I feel like what are the best professions that are really looked at in the world? Like, what are those things that a lot of parents always want their kids to be?
Cops, a doctor, lawyer, police
officer, stuff like that. So I feel like each profession, like just like the three main ones we name, lawyers, cops, doctors. I feel like each of them definitely have their cons. But if I really had to pick, like, what I feel like is the worst out of all of them, probably being a cop. I don't, and this is also just aside from the police brutality aspect of things, because those have to do with certain cops, racist ones, and ones that, you know, have that need to want to inflict violence upon others based off of their own personal beliefs. But aside from the whole police brutality aspect of things, I would say just being a cop in general, you never know the crime scenes you have to, like, when I watch a lot of these shows, like the cases they got to deal with is scary, especially like with SVU, the plot twists that come just from a lot of their cases, it's scary as hell, especially when you're dealing with gang related cases and cases where it involves people having to go into witness protection and shit, because you never know who the hell you dealing with. You know what I mean? It's a lot. You know, and then just like watching shows like Criminal Minds, you never know what crime scene or what type of sadistic, horrible person you're dealing with. You know, you don't know their strengths. You know, you don't know what levels they're willing to go. You know what I mean? To continue out carrying out their crimes. You know what I mean? So, and you don't know the PTSD it could bring upon you. You don't, you know, I've even seen episodes of SVU where it shows like the life for women and, you know, people that aren't white straight men that are cops being cops, you know, and how difficult it is for them to navigate being a cop and the brutality and stuff they experience if you're not a white straight male cop.
Pretty much.
Good or bad, you know? Pretty so much. One thing that you know damn well you're doing for your kids when you have kids.
They're not getting any electronics until they're in middle school. I mean, they can have a phone, but these fucking tablets.
All these tablets and these new EL gadgets and whatever.
The new day or whatever.
No. Listen, my kids, they're going to be fly. They're going to be that plus the more. But when it comes to like these electronics, I don't want to have a kid that is so tied to their electronic that we go out to a fancy restaurant and the only way that they'll settle down is if they have their iPad.
Because we live in so much like technology, like advanced times. Like
me growing up, I never had my first like tablet. I had a 5th grade. My first phone, I had like a 6th grade. So I don't want to start my kids off early, and then like.
Girl, I didn't get my phone until I was in middle school. So I understand exactly what the hell you talking about. I had a trackie periodically throughout elementary school, and that was only to call like my parents and family and stuff. If I was in an emergency, I was one out of many kids that had a trackie when I was little. I didn't get my first phone until I was in middle school. Right when I started 6th grade was when I got my iPhone.
Like, I don't want them to be attached. I mean, yeah. If I do end up giving them, they're going to have screen time on their tablets. Because I find kids who have screen time, they're like more calm. But these kids who have to
you say these kids today, girl, forget about it.
Like my nephew, he had his first phone when he was like he's 7 now, like 5. He had a flipping iPhone. So it's like he talks he's on that shit 24/7. You ask him if he got homework. I don't got no homework. And then he catches himself in a lie and he tries to like retrace his steps. But it's like you listen to these conversations that these kids have. One of his friends got a fucking potty mouth. These kids are like fucking 7. Got a fucking potty mouth. Like the things that they talk about is the things that you don't expect kids their age to be talking about. And I don't want my kids like that. Yeah. You guys have your tablet an hour after everything is done. Or on the weekends.
Not only was I not able to have an iPhone until middle school, I wasn't even allowed to bring it outside of my house until like 8th grade. Like I had to still have my trackie outside and I could only use my phone when I got home and finished my work. So best believe in 6th and 7th grade, every time I came home, my phone would be by my mom's bedside charging. My mom would be like, "Do your homework, friend? And you can get it." Then I have to get it, and then before I go to bed, I have to plug it back up, put it by her. That's definitely how it was for me.
Another thing, even though I did say like I don't want my kids on tap like on electronics and stuff, I do want them to be aware of shit that happens. With like, yes, I've had experiences like that, but I don't want my child to be so naive that they think it's another child their age and their buddy. I don't want that. I want them to like the signs. Like
Yeah.
the way they talk, the things they ask for.
But I also feel like that my mom was a victim of sexual abuse when she was a child. So she was very, very, very big on teaching us signs and like making sure that we could like read like people that we may encounter, like read things that we could get into. My mom was very heavy on protecting yourself, asking, knowing when to ask for help, stuff like that. Like my mom was very, 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 very big on that. So I feel like that's a parent's instinct. I always told myself, I was actually thinking about this shit today when I woke up. I know some parents now are like installing like chips in their kids. Like those little, it's like those little chips that go on your arm. I know a lot of parents have done it. I know you usually put it in dogs. But
Freddie Benson's mother did that shit.
Yeah, Carly. But I'm not gonna lie, like a part of me was like, is that really bad? Because I just feel like with the amount of kids being, like I said, sex trafficking, you like the kidnapping and stuff like that, like I feel like that's very much needed. Like something where like, because some phones are not trustful, you know what I mean? They can be turned off, thrown away. I'm gonna need to know my kids' whereabouts, and then they can take it out if they get like 18 or whatever.
I think it's helpful, but also at the same time, like I know if some parents do that, they're definitely not gonna let their child know. And
get it done to them as a baby and don't tell them.
Let's say, shit, my child's 16, 17. When kids have that rebellious stage.
That's what I'm saying. Do it before all of that. Do it before all of that.
But the way our generation is, if that shit happened to us, you and I both know some of these kids would have a problem with that shit. Like, why you gotta know where I'm at all the time? I can't be my own free person.
Yeah.
But it's like for your own safety. What if you got kidnapped and I don't know where you were? Now I know where you were. So
yeah, it's a pro and con to it because it may be an invasion to their privacy. Like you said, like when they come to that teenage age, and we've all had it. Definitely, we all had it. Well, when we get to that teenage age, we were like, no, like, why I gotta let y'all know? Like, I'm gonna be doing my own thing. You know what I mean? Like, I want to sneak off. I want to go, I want to do this. I want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the tea, though. Well, we want you to be okay. You know what I mean? It's like getting older. I'm now understanding the parents' point of view, too. And if I'm a parent, I want to make sure that my kids, you know what I mean? And I feel like it's more imperative. I feel more of an urge to want to do that for my kids when I, get older because I'm going to be famous by then. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be a public figure. So to me, it's more of a need to want my kids. Like it's more of a need to want to know where my kids is. I don't know. This is me. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know the side effects to having that in your body. Like I know that there's a lot of people that don't have that for their kids a lot, but I've seen people on TV, and like you said, iCarly. So like, but that's something that I want to bring in your head.
Food after this. I got a nice little plate of food after this. I made some smothered baked turkey wings yesterday. Some cheese, some baked ziti, and some white rice. Yes, I did. Some leftovers.
I asked you this question before. If you could have let's say the government says you can only have one food item for the rest of your life.
Like a meal?
One item. They never said we could do with this item. They said one item. It has to be a staple of it has to be like the main dish of every meal that you have. What would it be?
Oh, like it has to be a part of the meal. What you're
And
saying?
it has to be the most. You know how like people have like chicken and curry, where white rice and the white rice is majority of the meal,
Yeah,
like that. It
macaroni,
has to be the main.
macaroni,
Macaroni or macaroni and cheese. But they
macaroni
could
and
just
cheese.
give you macaroni. You know?
I know, macaroni and cheese. Macaroni and cheese. I love macaroni and cheese. I don't know why I do. With rice, it depends on who makes the rice. Because if
That's
it's
true.
my I forgot the name of the restaurant. It's in Spanish, but there's a really good ass Spanish restaurant out here in my neighborhood. If it's their rice, for life. If it's my sister's rice, for life. If it's my aunt's rice, for
life.
you know what I mean? Like it depends. You know, if it was my grandmother's rice,
For life.
you know, but
Mhm.
you know, I would have to say macaroni and cheese just because macaroni and cheese is just like my favorite fucking meal on the planet. So it's like I would have to say macaroni and cheese. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. That's one. We got to some things, and we're gonna continue to get into some things in our future episodes. Lisa, again, thank you so fucking much for coming back to this podcast. This felt so full circle. It was needed. I say it was needed. And yeah, y'all, stay tuned for more. Of course, you already know the vibes. And that's really about it. Bye.